mask if you're going to be inside the building. You need to be wearing a mask if you're inside the building.
So what if somebody has a medical exemption to wearing a mask? Who pays for the building here? Who pays for this building here? So can taxpayers come and let their feelings be known if they're not able to wear a mask through a different medical reason or some other reason?
They can do it online the way we've been doing it in the past.
Okay.
They can do it that way. And that's clear. It's the same thing.
So you separate citizens into different groups, or?
They separate themselves from us. We don't separate.
So it's their fault that they have a medical condition that doesn't allow them to wear a mask, like asthma or...
No, but the board has the authority to pass policies for the operation of the district.
So
The same as the police department does and the city does. You can't go use the police firing range just because the citizens pay for it.
So why do we have to keep funding the school at 42% of our taxpayer dollars going toward the Ankeny schools when our children can't attend in a way that they don't feel isolated and ashamed of themselves?
Well, you're probably not going to get that answer tonight to that specific question.
It might take a long time, but we're willing to put it in the work in for our children because they're worth it.
What happens if a child shows up at school without a mask? What happens?
We either ask them to put a mask on, if they've got a medical exemption, we make arrangements. They can wear a shield, like your daughter wears a shield on that.
Yeah, their arrangements is to
But
put
her
her in a
arrangements are
corner.
this, to put her in a corner like this.
Turn it around a little. Sorry about that. To put her.
That's their arrangement.
So what if they didn't want to wear a face shield and they just didn't want to wear a mask? Would they be kicked out of school?
Would be kicked out, but they wouldn't be able to attend. They could stay there virtual. We made arrangements for them to do virtual schooling and they've done that.
They won't get kicked out of the class because my 11th grader today got kicked out of her science class because she refused to put her mask above her nose. So he told her she had to leave the classroom.
Why does the school board only require one mask if the CDC said two were better? Why not require two masks then?
The CDC has done that only, and they have recommended in some instances that if you can't get an N95 mask, you wear a cloth mask, you have a disposable mask with that, you wear both of those masks.
So how many people in the school have an N95 mask? Do the people that don't have an N95 mask have to wear two then? If we're following the CDC guidelines and that's what the CDC has said.
Not at this point, I don't know that the CDC said it. I'm not sure. We've got a board meeting we gotta get to, so we're gonna ask you to leave unless you wanna put a mask on. And that includes everybody.
Can we ask you to leave if you don't take it off? Are we allowed to ask you
You can
that?
ask me, but I probably won't
Well, then,
ask
can
you.
you not ask us and we can not?
So do you guys wear a mask in your own house? Yeah.
I don't know, I can't answer for everybody.
But if a mask is worn because it supposedly makes everybody else safer, wouldn't you want to keep the people in your own house safer than you'd want to keep the people at school? Or at least as safe?
Sure.
But you don't wear one at your own house.
No, but I live by myself. I don't have anybody else living with me right now.
If your family were having a family reunion or a birthday party in somebody's house, you wouldn't want to be there unless everybody wore a mask.
It depended on the circumstances, and that's an individual choice.
So throw is this.
So it's an individual choice for you with your own family, but not an individual choice for moms and dads who send their kids to a public school.
That's a little unfair.
Do you think that's constitutional?
We still pay for the school.
I don't know where
Our
you
tax
think there's
dollars,
anything in
our
the
property tax
Constitution
dollars.
that says
I don't think there's anything that says I have to either.
No, but it goes back to the fact that the school board can,
I can't understand you.
that's because I got a mask.
I know.
Do you have any idea how many times you've touched your own mask since we've been talking?
A lot.
It's not something I particularly count, but I do have a mask.
I'd like to know what science that you're basing your mask mandate off of.
You know, we don't have time for that whole discussion, but the CDC, the
It's
American,
like,
Okay, that's fine. What science are they using?
a
none.
lot of it's their own.
What peer-reviewed studies
Double blind.
is this
I
based
have not
on?
seen it that said you shouldn't wear masks.
Well, there is one.
Yeah,
It's
there
out
is.
of Denmark.
Yeah, there
It's the
is.
only peer-reviewed study, and it specifically states that you should not wear masks.
I'm pretty sure Fauci even said so a few years ago.
2008.
And I've got to ask you to leave if you
We're
don't
not in
have
them.
a mask. Yeah, you are. You're on school property, actually.
Don't we
This
pay
is
for this?
public
That's
property.
got nothing to do with it.
Well, there's an officer sitting outside.
Yeah, he hasn't asked us to leave. He knows we're here.
Okay?
He's ready to ask.
I can ask him to ask you to leave,
Sure can.
but I don't want to do that.
But that's okay. Then you can let us speak and we won't.
I told you, you can speak, you gotta wear a mask.
But if we can't wear masks, I have a medical evidence here. We can't.
You know, I don't.
Do
wanna
people
go
do
wrong.
people have a constitutional right to speak at a school board meeting?
No,
They don't have a constitutional right to speak at a school board meeting.
What happened to freedom of speech?
Are you are you in an elected position or an appointed position? Who appoints you?
the school board,
Okay, and the school board is all elected.
yes.
Okay, so they're accountable, but you're not accountable for your decisions.
The school board,
Okay.
And the public does not have a constitutional right to speak at a school board meeting.
that's correct.
Based
Nothing in the Constitution that says you have, you have.
There's nothing in the
So
Constitution.
who, let me
that says
ask
that
you,
schools
who
are-
runs the school district? The school district is a form of
School board,
government,
it's a
right?
representative government.
Okay, and the First Amendment gives people the right to,
First Amendment or the Second Amendment?
the first, gives people the right to
You tell me what you're fishing for.
peacefully assemble,
You're doing that.
address their government boards with freedom of speech.
I don't know that that's where the freedom of speech article comes in.
So to be clear, you think the Second Amendment is freedom of speech? Who teaches history and civics in this district?
Clearly.
So just to be clear for those watching,
We're gonna.
what's his position?
He is the superintendent of the Ankeny.
The superintendent of Ankeny Schools says taxpayers do not have a constitutional right to speak at a school board meeting. So why are public comments required to be offered at a school board meeting?
They're not,
They're not.
they're not required. The school board does that because they open for listening to the citizens.
But you're not.
But you're not if you're not gonna say that it's our
They do not
constitutional
have to-
right to speak at a school board meeting. When we pay for this, our taxpayer dollars, 42% of it go towards your schools.
The decisions you make are affecting our kids.
Big time.
We understand.
That's really important to us. It's
Same with
probably
the
the most
tape
important
measure.
thing in our
I'm not
entire
sure You
lives.
guys are 6 feet apart.
They changed it to 3 feet. The CDC
Well,
changed
you
it
need
to 3
change your
feet.
sign.
I just can't understand that. That's fine,
They did.
but I'm not sure. So if somebody wants to speak at an open meeting, because school board meetings are open meetings, right? We agree on that. But the public does not have to be given a right to
The
speak.
school board has no legal obligation to allow comments or allow speaking from the public at a school board meeting.
Okay. Okay.
School board meetings are meetings that are held in the public, but technically they're not public meetings.
School board meetings are held in the public, but technically are not public meetings.
Secret society, I think we need to take this up with
Wow.
legislators.
Yep, that's probably right.
They are trying to disband the Department of Education, and I sure hope they do.
Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion, that is some of the freedom.
How can they, if they're entitled to their opinion, how can they let you guys know their opinion if they're not constitutionally allowed to speak at your meetings?
That's not the only way you can correspond with the board.
So the board gets to choose how somebody uses their constitutional right to communicate with them.
And you have the opportunity at the election, time of election, to pick your representative.
Yep. Okay. So when the Ankeny school board election, I take it, is this year because it's an odd numbered year?
It's in November, I believe.
How many people typically run for school board? I mean, people typically have a choice.
I don't know. This is my first year here, I'm just here on an interim basis.
An interim basis. Okay. All right.
I think we're gonna have a lot more turnout for school board candidates this year, aren't we?
For sure. I know we have some great candidates running, because we need to start putting the students first, and the families first. You are to serve us. We are just to serve your interests and your ideology and your agenda. You are to serve your community. So we need to start electing members that are willing to do that for us and to hear us and to understand the Constitution. If you don't even know the First and the Second Amendment, what are we doing electing anyone to the board who doesn't know that? That tells us a lot.
It's time we move on.
You too, sir.
We're over a year into 15 days to flatten the curve too, so we should move on. You're right.
And you should have your own strong opinion and not just wish-wash answers.
Thanks for your time.
I give you my strong opinion and just produce an argument.
That's the beauty of America, though, right?
Beauty of America, that's right.
Yep.
We're slowly losing our freedom of choice.
Because
I don't know.
everyone touches it at once.
I don't know.
Come on, you can.
So
you wanna
that's
sit
another
beside me? You can
germ
sit beside me.
that's
Because we're gonna
being
speak,
spread.
okay?
And everybody does have.
Actually, you did, I don't think you did get on the agenda.
Yes, I did. I have my email. I can give it to you.
Go door to door. Let's make a poll.
Okay, let's move on out, guys.